Yes, everybody, stimulus checks for Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and RRB and VA beneficiaries. So lawmakers have agreed to deposit $500 payments to provide more financial stimulus checks to people that are currently struggling due to the crisis. You want to make sure to watch until the end of this video to find out the most important stimulus check, Social Security, and stimulus news. Now, the one-time employee premium pay program, $500 payments are actually going to begin going out to hundreds, even thousands of people this month in Massachusetts, with the first receivers being essential workers. Massachusetts Senator actually wrote in a Twitter post that distribution of the first round of $500 checks for low-income workers specifically under this new program is finally happening, and this is going to be helping people like the essential workers that work throughout the crisis So it's really great to see, folks, that there are states that are helping out their own residents. Now, last year, Massachusetts governor signed into law the Crisis Essential Employee Premium Pay Program. The legislature allocated $460 million for premium payments to Massachusetts workers. It will distribute a $500 payment to 500,000 low-income workers across the state. That's according to the state's website, at least. And in order to be eligible, recipients must have filed a 2020 tax return, been a Massachusetts resident in 2020, or a part-year resident that lived in Massachusetts between March 10th, 2020 and December 31st, 2020. Earned income of at least $12,750 in 2020, and that's through employment compensation. Now, according to the state's official website, all eligible individuals are going to automatically receive a check in the mail, but you will still have to file a 2020 tax return in order to get the check automatically deposited or even mailed to you. It's also important to note that individuals who received unemployment compensation in 2020 will not be eligible for this first round of payments, nor will the Commonwealth Executive Branch employees, who received or will receive a one-time payment from the state as their employer. The good news is that at least some states are helping out their residents with more stimulus checks. Now, to be on pace to earn a $4,100 Social Security benefit, your earnings in 2022 will need to be at least $147,000. And each year, there's a maximum Social Security benefit. In 2022, the largest monthly check a retiree could receive from the SSA is $4,100.94. And that is a substantial sum, especially considering the average senior on Social Security has a monthly benefit of around $1,700. And I know many of you are wondering how the amount you receive is calculated. Well, Social Security benefits are calculated based on a formula that gives you retirement income equaling a percentage of the average wage that you earned over 35 years. Specifically, the benefits formula is targeted to give workers a check equaling about 40% of pre-retirement earnings. This money is supposed to be one of several sources of support, along with savings and employer-provided pensions. According to the Social Security Administration, only around 6% of workers each year have an income equal to or exceeding this limit. So many people actually get a $4,194 stimulus check. Monthly check that is. But as the crisis continues, many lawmakers are continuing to push for a boost for Social Security beneficiaries. Like Elizabeth Warren, she plans to give all recipients of Social Security benefits an extra $200 per month. Folks, this is definitely a good idea from Elizabeth Warren. It will definitely help so many seniors that need Social Security benefits. If you guys agree, tell me in the comments down below.
Grants to help restaurants and bars that have experienced significant revenue losses due to COVID-19 restrictions. Those restrictions were necessary, which is why, hopefully, we're coming out of not only the initial assault, but the variants assault. The aim was to help them stay open to keep their employees on the payroll. I suggest if we had not done that, it wouldn't be independence that they would have experienced. They would have experienced recession and perhaps depression. That funding quickly ran out, however, with only a third of restaurants that applied for assistance ultimately receiving it. The legislation before us today would replenish the Small Business Administration's Restaurant Revitalization Fund with an additional $42 billion so that the more than 150,000 restaurants still waiting in the queue can finally get the help they need. Those applicants have been waiting since funding ran out last year, and according to the Independent Restaurant Coalition, 86% Mr. Speaker, of owners indicated that they may close down if they aren't able to access these grants. More than 90,000 restaurants and bars have shut down in this pandemic. Think about the impact of that on neighborhoods, communities, and local economies. Congress should act and act quickly. I share the view of the gentleman who spoke before me that we need to make sure that we eliminate fraud, we eliminate abuse, and that we claw back money that was received through fraud. All that does is hurt those who really need it. And what this legislation says is we're going to get back that money that was fraudulently received by individuals and give it to people who legitimately need it and qualify, such as restaurants, gyms, health clubs, salons, music venues, and other places where people hope to congregate but couldn't because of necessary pandemic restrictions.
So I think if you look at our, maybe the closest economies and political systems would be the countries of Western Europe and Canada, advanced economy countries like that. They're all having the highest inflation they've had in a very long time. Places like Germany, which is famously, inflation averse.
So monthly stimulus payments may be automatically deposited for you. Lawmakers across the nation have officially set up new relief programs. The more stimulus money you can receive right now would greatly help so many people, so I believe President Biden should actually get the job done and send out stimulus checks as soon as possible. Now, the nearly $1 trillion in federal relief sent to U.S. households through 3 stimulus checks is credited with reducing poverty and helping millions of families weather the crisis. But with the crisis still affecting millions of people in the nation, many lawmakers are deciding to take action on this with their own form of stimulus payments. States are tapping into their own stimulus funds to help specific residents, like low-income households of teachers, or even teachers, with direct aid reaching more millions of people this year. According to recent census survey data, about 1 in 4 households across the country struggled to pay their household expenses in the previous week. So in an effort to help Americans from any future recessions, lawmakers in the Senate and the White House are now considering passing automatic checks for the next time the economy takes another significant dip. The Economic Security Project has officially held a discussion with 50 staff members from the Senate Finance Committee on automatic stabilizers. This would tie the issuance of expanded unemployment payments and stimulus checks to the state of the economy, therefore helping many people out. Plus, one economist told CNN putting in place these kinds of triggers would smooth out the recovery and no one is left at the mercy of Washington gridlock in future recessions. So she supports recurring stimulus check.